Hello everyone, Jolene here from Bookworm Adventure Girl. Welcome to a Tag Tuesday. I hope that you are well. This is where I talk about the books that I'm reading. I like to read diverse books and I highlight Canadian literature. If you are new, thanks so much for checking out my channel. Please hit subscribe and stick around. It has been a while since I've done any kind of tag, and today I am going to be weaponizing a video that my friend AJ from AJ Dunn Reads and Writes did, and I'm going to turn it into a tag. AJ's original video is called BookTube Valentine Special. I will link it below along with AJ's channel. Also, AJ, the last time I checked, was at like 999 subscribers, and I am so excited for them. Please go over there if you haven't already subscribed, and please do so. It's a huge milestone to reach 1K for booktubers, so congrats to AJ. I really enjoyed this video and how AJ put it together with the different categories, and I messaged them and said, this could be turned into a tag, and AJ said, go for it. So here I am. As I said, AJ had great categories and just a fun way of organizing these. So the first prompt is Be Mine. AJ shared 4 queer romances. A couple of them I want to read. One of them is on my shelf, but I'm going to cheat a little bit on this one, and I am going to share a book that has been on my shelf for close to 20 years. And it is At Swim, 2 Boys by Jamie O'Neill. This is one of those books that when it first came out, I would walk by it at the bookstore and I was always drawn to it. Several times I almost picked it up until finally one day I bought it, and now it's been waiting very patiently for a couple of decades to be read. This story takes place in Ireland in the early 1900s. It is a coming-of-age story described as powerful and artful. It is a tender, tragic love story. So that totally sounds like something that I would really like, and this tag is making me remember that I need to get to this book. Next, AJ talks about that feeling of reading a book for the first time with Meet Cute. So there is nothing like when a book totally envelops you. There are books that I remember everything about the experience of reading it, the actual reading experience, where I was, what was going on, and the books that I felt that I was living inside of them. So I have 3 books that totally embraced me. There's many more, but I have 3 to share. And the first one is Drums of Autumn by Diana Gabaldon. Now, this is the 4th book in the Outlander series, but some of you may already know this story. I picked this book up because I was drawn to the cover. It was totally a cover buy. I had no idea it was part of a series, and I had no idea what it was about. But for 2 days, I lived inside this book with the characters. I barely did anything else but devour this book. And then I had to read the other 3 books leading up to it. So this is one of the very few series for me that has kept my attention. And it has time travel, which I totally believed. It's totally believable. The second book I have is also from a series, strangely enough. Like, who am I right now? But it is another book that I devoured in a couple of days, and that I lived inside the world of Kingsbridge. And it's Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. Yes, it's about building a cathedral, but it is also about the people and the families and the politics of Kingsbridge. It is incredible. And another series that I now actually have to catch up with. But the 2 original books have really kept my attention. Now I know that both of those books were over 1,000 pages, so my next book, the last book that I will share, is not as big of a commitment as the first two. So I may not have lived inside it the way I did the other two. But the way the story was told was like it was being told to me, and I was being let in on something. And that book is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book was wonderful. I thought it was wonderfully told. It captured old Hollywood perfectly and revealed Evelyn Hugo and her seven husbands over time until you really understand who Evelyn Hugo was, and it was excellent. Next, AJ shared 4 books that they said were in the friend zone. These are hyped books that are just okay for me. AJ talked about books that they only gave 3 stars to, and I have to say that I agreed with all of AJ's choices on this. And this is also one of the prompts that I had a lot of books to choose from. I chose 3 books that fit the friend zone. These are all books that people told me over and over how amazing they were. I rated them all 3 stars, and I don't get the hype. You know, that being said, these are all authors that I would read another book by, and in some cases I even have another book on my shelves by these authors. First is Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi. I was expecting to be blown away by this book. I wasn't. I remember it being fine, but even now I don't really remember what happened or what it was about. Like I remember nothing. Second, I know this is so many people's favorites, but A Gentleman in Moscow by Amor Towles. This one I do remember a bit about, even some scenes in the hotel. So it wasn't all lost on me, but I don't get the hype behind this at all. And I also want to read at least 2 more of Amor Towles' books. So, you know, we are still friends. We are still friends. Third is Girl, Woman, Other by Bernardine Evaristo. This won the Booker in 2019, but I don't get it, really. It's short stories, and they weren't all awful, but I can't say that any of them have stayed with me. Yeah, if you watch my top books of 2023 for fiction and nonfiction, you will know that Gemma from Gem of Books, her and I buddy read books that made it into both of those lists. But this was one of those times that Gemma and I didn't care for the book so much. Yeah, I don't get it. The next prompt is Enemies to Lovers, and these are books that I thought I wasn't going to like, but I ended up loving these. Or basically, these are surprise reads, which are often my favorite, and I have 2 books for this. First is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I did not think that I would enjoy this book nearly as much as I did. I gave it 5 stars. I thought it was going to feel too YA-ish, and I wasn't sure that I was going to really get into the story, but I love the characters, especially the main character, and I thought the story and themes were handled so well in this, and I actually have the prequel and really need to get to it. The second book, I have Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. I had seen this book several times, didn't think much of it until a colleague at work said that they had read it, they enjoyed it, so I picked it up, willing to give it a chance. and I ended up loving it. It has way more depth than I had expected. It also has some of my favorite things, like quirky characters, and I also think that it has one of my all-time favorite literary friendships. The final prompt is the breakup, books I DNF'd or broke up with, and I think it's common knowledge that I started and didn't finish The Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas twice. Now this book still sits on my shelf, so I haven't completely abandoned it or given up on it. Sometimes classics, or really any books, need to be at the right place and at the right time for me, very much like relationships. So I'm waiting to see if that ever happens for this book and I. And then AJ mentioned hate reading a book, and my second book is definitely one that I hate read, and it's Quantum by Patricia Cornwell. This book, oh boy. I had such high hopes because I had heard nothing but good things about Patricia Cornwell, and a book club that I was part of at the time chose this for our read, and I hate read it because it was for a book club, and it was torture. It has not made me want to pick up other Patricia Cornwell books, which is too bad because I actually do think I would like some of them. And I have been assured they are so much better. And they must be, because this book was a tough one. So that is it for the prompts from AJ's video. I am going to tag a number of people to see if we can get this out there and see if we can get people to subscribe to AJ's channel. If you are up for doing the tag, please do. You can decide how many books you want to share for each prompt. I am going to tag some of my buddy reading buddies. First, Gemma from Gemma of Books, Alice from Alice and the Giant Bookshelf, Jack from Spread Bookjoy, Danny from Danny Dabbles. I'm also going to tag the Michaels, Michael from Michael Romeo Talks Books, and Michael Wurtenberg, who actually recently did a video about romance reads, so that's worth checking out. We're going to do a few more here. Tallia from Bandana Book Mom, Charlie from Charlie Brooks Reads. Let's see who else I have here. How about Anne from Anne Novella, and Dave and Olive at Book Blather, and last but not least, a newer channel to me, I'm going to also tag the Mild Rumpus. So check out all those channels if you haven't already. I would love to see what all of you come up with for these prompts if you choose to do the tag. Thanks again to AJ for letting me weaponize this into a tag and for creating a really great video and a fun video. Please let me know what books fit these prompts for you. What books are in your friend zone, or what books you broke up with, what books are your enemies to lovers. I look forward to chatting with you in the comments. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget to make every day an adventure.